Mr. Speaker, I rise today with serious concerns. Today, we are voting on a bill that guts education funding, fails to provide adequate support for our hardworking teachers, and turns our back on our schools, our communities, and our children. Mr. Speaker, today we are not fixing No Child Left Behind, which has long needed to be fixed, but instead we are moving in the wrong direction. As a room parent, as a PTA mom, I strongly believe that every child deserves the opportunity for a quality education, and every child deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. The amendment I'm offering today provides us the opportunity to live up to those goals. My amendment would guarantee continued funding for the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, known as IDEA. Just today, I met with school superintendents from Connecticut who emphasized the critical role of federal funding for IDEA, which provides important support for students with autism and cognitive disabilities. And my amendment would protect children with disabilities from abusive seclusion and restraint practices.
The gentlelady will suspend. House will be in order. Gentlelady deserves to be recognized. Gentlelady may continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Last year, I met with a group of students from the Focus Center for Autism in Canton, Connecticut, in my district. They were incredible students who bravely advocated for themselves and bluntly talked about the challenges they face in the classroom. According to the Centers for Disease Control, 1 in 68 American children is now on the autism spectrum, a 10-fold increase in the last 40 years. And in Connecticut, too many students, particularly students who are on the autism spectrum, face unnecessary and dangerous seclusion and restraint. According to the Connecticut Department of Education and the Office of the Child Advocate, there were 35,000 incidents of children being restrained or placed in seclusion last school year. Over 80% of these children were boys, the majority of them children of color. Many of them were in elementary school, even as young as preschool, and many of them were on the autism spectrum. Earlier this year, the Office of the Child Advocate in Connecticut released a report showing that in the last 3 years, more than 1,300 Connecticut school children were injured during such restraint or seclusion. And nationwide, the Nonpartisan Government Accountability Office found hundreds of cases of alleged child abuse, including at least 20, that is 20 deaths of children related.
Would the House please come to order? Gentlelady deserves to be heard. Members, remove your conversations from the floor. Gentlelady, continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Including at least 20 deaths related to the use of the harmful methods during the last 2 decades. And these stories are truly horrific. A 7-year-old dying after being held face down for hours by school staff. 5-year-olds with broken arms and bloody noses after being tied to chairs with bungee cords and duct tape by their teacher. And a 13-year-old who hung himself in a seclusion room after prolonged confinement. This is absolutely unacceptable. While Congress surely should not micromanage discipline in local schools, we should step up to set standards to ensure that all our children are safe. And we should fully fund IDEA to ensure support for all children with disabilities. Now, let me be clear. Many teachers do an outstanding job in what can often be a challenging classroom environment. Having children with disabilities in the classroom can be a rewarding experience for the child and for their classmates. Children with learning disabilities will learn and excel with the right support. It's just not acceptable to say that we don't have enough time or enough money to provide that support. So today, let's fully fund IDEA, support special education and services for all children, with disabilities and restrict the dangerous practices of seclusion and restraint. We can do better. We must do better for our children. I ask all House members to join me to vote for this amendment, and I yield back the balance of my time.